We're back. Welcome back. T.A. Mahoney, Tales from the Dark Side, where the weirdos come to mingle. Now, I'm not saying she's a weirdo, but some people could put her in that class. Not me. She's a friend of mine, Miss Tonya Lewis. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing great. One of the reasons why I wanted you to come out, Tanya has helped me. Shoot, I don't even know how long. Has it been 28, 25? Do you remember how long we've been working together?
I don't even know. I think it's past 26 years.
Yeah, 26 years. And what Tanya owns is a nonprofit that helps inner city youth, is what triggered me to hook up with her right off the get-go. When I first met Tanya, I remember she pulled in here with a landscape truck, 4 or 5 guys, and I'm telling you, there was no slackers. She got out, they were already out. What do you need? Tires, we're going to get them. She cracked the whip. Started a nonprofit. We've done some great things. We're going to talk about it. But the first thing I want to talk about, give us some history about you. Where'd you come from?
Well, actually, I'm from Miami, Florida, and my mother relocated us when I was 7 years old to Mulberry, Florida. That was a transition.
Miami to Mulberry. Wow. How old were you?
7.
That's a shocker.
No, it was past a shock, okay? And then from Mulberry to Plant City. And
Little
then
better, but not a whole lot. Still country.
Just a little. And so from there, I left Plant City, and then I relocated to Tampa. And I've been in Tampa now probably around about 41 years.
41 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing about me and you that we got in common, we both went to the same college. You know that? The state-funded college. We got free meal plan. We had room and board.
Free.
We had a lot of time to think, didn't we,
Yes,
Tanya?
yes.
And both of us went through a little bit of that, and you come out of that wanting to give. I want you to talk about that a little bit. What triggered you to give back?
Well, I'll tell you, from my own adversities, growing up with a single mother, went through many challenges. I always said that I wanted to do better and be a little bit more better, not putting my mother down, but I knew that from our adversities, not having, being challenged with no clothing, less food in the house, and my mother did the best that she could.
Right.
And so with that being said, I know when I left home at an early age at 13 years old and came here in the streets of Tampa, went through a lot of things and ended up going to free college.
That's what I call it.
Free college.
Scholarship. I got me a
Yes,
scholarship.
And I knew I was wasted talent there. I knew I was much more than being in the system. So I came home and started knowing that there were challenges faced against me. I wanted to make sure that I gave back. And there were a lot of doors closed when I came home. A lot of things that they say are here for you, they forgot to tell you it's not funded anymore, or and it's like a slap in the face. Some things don't exist, so it puts you back into that setback of depression a little bit. But knowing that I'm not a person that give up and never take no for an answer, I wanted to make sure that I started out working at Dunkin' Donuts and El Dorado Car Wash. Two, to me, underpaid jobs at the same time, only bringing in $300, and I know good and well that was not going to be me. So in tune, I went and started my own lawn service. And I started out with one weed eater, one lawnmower blower, and I wanted to set my eyes on something a little bit better than that. So I went to Manley Tractor and Trailer many, many years ago, and a gentleman believed in me at the age of 21 years old. And don't stray away from the truth. I went in and I was like, blah, 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 blah. And he said, "You through?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you have $500? And I said, "Yes." And he actually gave me a one-man complete operation setup. big boy equipment.
That's awesome.
And from there, it pushed me in from residential to commercial property. And I started out hiring DLC offenders and went from 25 yards to servicing 85 yards and 15 commercial properties for 28 years. And in that 28 years, I wanted to make sure that I started a nonprofit, Children with a Vision. I wanted to give back. So it started back from my childhood. I never had the opportunity of having brand new clothes and school supplies, and it took the neighbor to help my mother, and I never forgot that. So I started out giving out 50 backpacks in my backyard in 1994, and then from now, 50 backpacks now to thousands of backpacks 27
Every
years
year,
later.
right?
Yes.
Every year before school starts, you are right there no matter what. You're giving them backpacks and school supplies. For sure.
And so to answer your question is, my adversities and my disadvantage pushed me into doing every event. I do 7 major events. The backpack drive came from we didn't have adequate school supplies and clothing. The Grandmother's Gala, when I was out here on these streets in Tampa at the age of 13, going through a lot of things, it took the grandmothers and the elders when I was in them streets and say, baby, come in here and get a plate of food, or come here, let me buy you some clothes. And I never forgot that. So upon like 10 or 15 years into Children with a Vision, I started doing a grandmother's gala. Just wanted to give back to the grandmothers and saying, give them their flowers while they yet live. So now this is our 8th year, and it went from 125 grandmothers now to 650 grandmothers. And it's like a prom. They dress up. We pay for all the buses. We pay for all the food. We have so many community partners, sponsors such as yourself, that help make that dream come true for these grandmothers. So that night, the grandmothers, the grandchildren are home, either pizza and movie night, or they're home with relatives while the grandmothers are being chaperoned by 150 male chaperones from here in Tampa. So it's an amazing thing. The Halloween, Operation Safe Halloween, my parents did not play going door to door. We was community. We was relatives come in the house, hot dogs, hamburgers, all the candy, and go home. And that's the same modern tradition that I accept today. So we just got through having Fall Festival. I don't like saying Halloween, but Fall Festival just a couple of weeks ago. And in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of so much depression, I was not going to have it, but almost dealing with what I do, Mike, it would have been a disappointment not to have the event.
Yeah, you did
so
a great
it
job.
challenged me. So we did it a different way. Instead of it being stationary, the moonwalks, the entertainment, we still had entertainment, but it was a walkthrough. So you were able to go table to table, or tent to tent. It was a couple of vendors and community sponsors that were on the ground, and it was a host of volunteers. It was so many volunteers this year that came into this one. It was pleasant. We serviced over 650 kids. We had buses pulling up this year.
Awesome.
Very diverse. A lot of people were saying they was trying to find somewhere safe, and they read about it or they heard about it on social media, and they just pulled up, and it was beautiful. I can tell you that. It was different than any other year, but this one was more beautiful. More people, more children, and what I seen this year, it was a lot of families, mothers and fathers bringing their children out. A lot of times, if it wasn't a pandemic, we used to see kids by themselves. Just a week ago, Thanksgiving, pre-Thanksgiving blessing, we serviced over almost 400 families in the middle of a pandemic. Nothing like you ever seen. There are so many families going through hardship, and a lot of families members was coming up, putting their head down, and I say, lift your head up. You never know where I'll be at today or tomorrow, so never feel the shame of coming to get something to eat. So in the midst of all of that, Mike, we do a lot of events all year round. The best thing that I can say is Children with a Vision like to be a blessing to the community. And from my vision, I say thank you to all the sponsors, all the volunteers, all the donors who believe in my vision to make it come true, and not just sponsor it, they come out and volunteer as well. Because it's a two-part fold to this. Is I want the children to see that a CEO is real. So I want you to come out your office and put on your doctor shorts or your blue jeans and your flip flops.
How come you don't ever ask me to show up to none of that?
Mike, don't do that. Don't do that. You know I ask you every year.
I'm not very social. It's nothing that I don't care, but yeah.
You came to one.
Yep.
The one that we corresponded with the fishing.
That's right. And you know something I really appreciate. That's something I want to talk about while you're here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing we've got is a great relationship as friends. You see something, and what drew me to you is exactly what you've talked about, giving back, because the trouble I've been in and the opportunity I've messed up and taken advantage of and stuff that not everybody, but people who've gone through problems have dealt with, that's all I want to do. And one of the greatest things, and I'm glad I learned it a long time ago, is if you can make somebody feel go from a negative to a positive feeling, whether it's happy or laughing or whatever it is, you've given the greatest gift. And we do customer appreciation days here at TA Mahoney, and we serve unbelievable amount of food. And I can tell you, I hope everything goes well for 2021.
Amen.
That's going to be our 75th year.
Ooh.
We're going to have a blowout. I hope that everything goes well to where we can do it. We cook turkeys, we cook grouper, we cook, everything, pigs, and you've been to many of them before. And Tanya came to me and she said, you know what, Mike? People in your community aren't coming to that. And I said, well, why wouldn't they come to it? Well, they don't feel invited to it. It's your customers in your store. And I said, yeah, but I open up for the whole community. And she can preach it all she wants.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great idea. And I thought it snapped right then. I said, you know what? My family's been in this community, and that's why I give back.
Amen.
The customers, the people have supported us for 75 years. You can bet one thing. If I can give somebody in this community something and put a smile on their face, I'm giving it to them. I don't care what it costs me. I don't care anything about that. I'm going to give it to them, whether it's a kid with a fishing rod. We stopped carrying fishing rods here. We had 150 fishing rods in stock that were not here. Because every single kid walked through that door, I grabbed that rod off that counter and gave it to him, said, take it off, don't charge them anything for it. Well, Tanya came to me, and I saw what I'd been doing business with her forever. The kids is the main thing, and giving back to this community, because I can tell you what, one thing I promise you is this show will never be political. We have to take care of our own people. If you're in Tampa, you take care of Tampa people. I live in Seffner.
Amen.
I grew up in Brandon. My business is Tampa. Who I take care of is Tampa. Now, I donate all over and everywhere, but I really focus as much as I can on this area. That's why I'd hit it off with Tonya Lewis, because all she wanted was better for her community. And I could see that. I could see it 28 years ago, 26 years ago, whatever it was. Another thing, and I want to get your take on this. We may wait maybe till the second part of this show to ask you, because I don't know how long it's going to go. But I can tell you what drew me to you.
Okay.
Was the cockiness.
Oh, Jesus.
It can also fall under confidence, right?
You
Some
say
people
cocky. I say confident.
And I agree with you. You're very confident. She knows what she's going after. She knows what she wants. She knows where the help needs to be put and what she's going to do. And if anybody's ever done any kind of event, it's a nightmare. A fishing tournament, a cookout, you got hours that people do not see. She never has enough volunteers. I want you to go on that website, look at it. Children with a Vision, Miss Tonya Lewis, one of the best around at giving back to the community. And she don't pull no punches. She got a problem with something, she's going to tell you. And that's what I like. There ain't no keeping your mouth shut.
No.
If something's wrong, it's wrong. You call it like it is. It don't matter who it is. I want to talk a little bit about fishing. When did you get into fishing?
Well, I'm going to say, after fishing with you, I wasn't doing too much fishing. I was playing.
You thought you were
I
fishing.
thought I was fishing until I went on the boat with you.
There's a lot of years of experience there, though. I can't blame you for that, but the desire to go.
Well, the desire for me to go fishing is therapeutic. I like going out to the water. Fishing became a habit. The water what drew me.
You were on that pier every day.
I was on the pier every day. I don't care if I'm sitting out there staring at the water from 8 o'clock in the morning. And I think when I left, it was probably like 11:30 at night. I get my rest there, and the fishing came about a little bit later, but I got into the fishing a little bit when you kept picking at me. So I said, I got to show Mike
And
Mahoney.
she did. She went out there
I
on
went
her
out
own and
every
caught
day.
fish.
I was
But
catching fish.
do you know the worst thing is when you would ask me what was legal and what wasn't? Because I'd always tell you, everything's legal. You can keep whatever you want. And you go, no, I don't think so, Mike.
No,
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
was trying to send me to jail, but
No, they just give you a coupon. It's not jail.
see, you say coupon, let's go past go and go to jail.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, after I asked you that question, I got woke up real quick.
Yeah.
Because I never knew that there were so many rules to fishing. When I'm going to put it like this, and then not just to say the gender part or the ethnicity part of it, African American people, when we go fishing, we go and we catch our fish
You meat
and we
fishing.
keep we keep them.
I'm a keeper, too.
I'm gonna keep
I
all my
promise you.
fish. But
And they ain't
after
going to waste.
No, they're not. Because they tell me, they say, Miss Lewis, you got to throw that fish back. No, everything in my pocketbook went
She's ready
in
to fight somebody.
You're right, because everything went in a bag and the fish went in my pocketbook because I took that fish
A
home.
true outlaw right here. Now I know you're a weirdo.
Okay.
Tales from the dark
But I
side.
tell you, after that, Mike, when I asked you that question, the next day at Ballast Point, I was
cops.
fishing, and I never seen a fish cop in my life until I turned around because I had the boom box going at Ballast Point, and I turned around and see a green, I don't know what it said, but I know it looked like Vice to
Said
me.
mean.
Yeah, it looked like
He had
Vice.
his mean on too, didn't
Yeah, he was looking kind of crazy. And he said, open up your cooler. And right then and there, I had to think real quick. And I opened up my cooler, and they checked the cooler, and he said one of the fish was kind of small. And I said, oh, by the way, do you know T.A. Mahoney?
You didn't say that,
I
did you?
did. I said, you know T.A. Mahoney?
He's a friend of mine. Did you hear this? And she's getting off. Name dropper.
I
don't
said
blame
it.
you.
But when I said that, the gentleman said yes, and they explained to me a little bit about the fishing, and I told him real quick, we just had a little talk, and, I'm going to talk my way out of something, okay? And after that...
But I truly believe that once they tell you and you understand the law, you had no problem abiding by
Well,
it.
I had
You
no
ain't
problem.
that kind of person.
Well, no, because the next day I went and got my fishing license, and the next day it made me get everything into play. But that same day, I asked the gentleman, would he mind coming out? Because we were getting ready. Matter of fact, we actually was in planning with the fish fry.
Yep.
Yes, and I asked him would he come out and explain the pros and cons of fishing, because we don't know that. A lot of people don't know the rules of the water.
Right.
I didn't. And believe it or not, that gentleman came out with some more people
Yep.
at the fish
That was
fry.
a great time,
And
too.
it was a great time. And he explained to the community. He gave out some pamphlets, and I think it was very educational of knowing those key factors on the water. So I tell you what, after that experience, I carry a ruler.
Smart.
And then I get the books that's at Walmart, and I make sure I look at the fish. But believe it or not, I check if
I do it a little bit easier. I bring a lookout.
you bring a lookout.
I don't bring a measuring tape. I bring somebody to look out for the fish cops. But that don't always work. And
No, that don't work
I
because they're
joke-
everywhere.
I joke around. I know them guys. I know the guys that was Stuart Mesman. He's a great guy. I'm friends with a lot of them. I service them here, and they know it. They know that they can check me anytime they want. I've done over time. I've accumulated some funny stuff. I've run from them in boats, and I've run from them and know who they are chasing me, and then come back around and see them again. You know, like after I dog them out. David Rigner from the sheriff's office. He's been on the water and retired now. I pulled out of the Alify, and they had that big slug of an Intrepid that couldn't get out of its own way, and I had a 60-mile-an-hour boat, and I just zipped on out there. I'd always cut to the flats. When they'd have the big boats, I'd cut across the flat. Well, you want to follow me? Come on.
Renegade.
But, nah, I did business with them. We got a great show going here. We got Miss Tonya Lewis, Children with a Vision in Tampa. We got another segment coming up. We're going to get a little more info out of her, and we'll be back. Welcome back, T.A. Mahoney, Tales from the Dark Side, with Miss Tonya Lewis, Children with a Vision. Met her a long time ago, been doing a lot of work with her. Now, I got a few questions for you. What drew you to T.A. Mahoney as a sponsor? Like meeting me for the first time, how did that go? What's your memory of that? Do you remember any of that? Am I a hard one? Let the people know. Am I a hard one to deal with, or am I an easy softy?
I will always ask you, do you want me to tell the truth?
Yeah, we can always edit
The truth. Okay.
We want to hear the truth.
You were a real live character when I first met you. I would say that you was fun, entertaining. I thought you was more of a butthole in some part of it, but I knew that you was a renegade majority part of
Profiling, you see that?
Yeah.
She ain't even met me yet.
Yeah.
She got me figured out.
it. Yeah, but I knew that right off the top. So, I knew we was going to hit it on since then.
Yeah.
Because, like minds draw like minds. So, still dealing with you a little bit, I don't know if my older age came over the 28 years I've known you. I think sometimes when you say some things, you always say, oh, you're getting soft on me. No, I ain't getting soft. You're just my friend now, and you hurt my feelings.
That's where I get you, though, when I can twist them feelings a little bit. I
You
get
did
your
that
attention.
twice. You did it twice.
You took it like a pro, though.
Yeah, I got to dealing with you.
And you know what, Tanya? One thing I like about the relationship we have, if there's something on your mind,
I'm going to say it.
you're going to tell me. There ain't no beating around the bush, and that's what I recommend for anybody in any relationship. There's things that we've had to work on, and we got through. That's the whole thing, and we both will, and we'll continue to do that. It would be hard-pressed for me to deal with anybody else in this community donating like we have. We've done a good job. You've done an absolutely great job.
And I thank you.
For me, I feel like it's my duty, and I've said this before. It's not, I'm not one to go and try to capitalize as much as I can on everything. I look at this industry as a whole, and when I make a decision, I try to make a decision on the industry. I try to make a decision on the city. Everything I do, I try to help out. One thing I've never been known for is just to hand people something, money, and walk away and think I did something. I want to know about it. And that's one thing Tanya's always done. There's been no doubt that the money I've spent with her and donating has gone to the greatest cause I could put it, and I'm getting the best bang for my buck. I mean, when you follow Children with a Vision on social media, you see those grandmothers. You see, and I said it earlier, the greatest thing is to be able to put joy on somebody's face. And truly, when you look at some of the stuff you do and you show a picture, I look at those people's faces. I look at people smiling. I've seen kids with rods and reels. Yes. I've seen kids getting big plates of food, a snapper, and talking to the fish cops, and we had pro athletes out there that day. And you know what? We didn't need anybody's help.
At all.
Between me and you and this community, we came together, and I'm looking forward to doing another one. Our friend Keon Wilson called me the other day, and he's looking to do some stuff. And you know what I said? When you're talking charity and you're talking helping people in Tampa, you better call Tanya. She's going to know what you should do, and how you should do it, and it's going to run the smoothest. Seems like after all these years, you got it kind of figured out, don't you? Or is it?
Well, the community got it figured out.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do.
Yep.
But I ask everyone to come in with smiles, come in with a cheerful heart, come in with Thanksgiving, because this is something that people don't have to do. We don't have to do this.
That's right.
A lot of times we done got away, and I say that in today's century, we done got away from morals. We've giving and we're giving, but what are we giving them in return of expectations? It's not a hand down, it's not a hand up, but it's simply just giving back. We've given the community too much now without expectations of coming back, reach one, teach one. And my whole thing in this city now is to stop, reflect, and to bring your children, not just to have your children come out and for us to be babysitters, but for you to bring anybody know Children with a Vision events. You're going to have your parent or a guardian, because when I'm getting ready to go, your children need to go with you.
I can tell you that we had an event, and I can't even tell you what event it was. It may have been the fish fry, and I remember you said that straight up. I'm going to have a bounce house there, and I am not your babysitter today. If your kids are going in that bounce house, you watching them. This ain't a place to drop them off. And that was, man, what a great event that was. We had
It
to
was
serve,
a beautiful event.
I never seen many people.
I don't know. I never seen any shrimp that big in my life. When Mike said
Superior
shrimp,
Seafood.
yes,
Ernie,
thank you.
Good guy right
Thank
there,
you, Mr.
buddy.
Ernie, because I never seen shrimp that big. Never.
Gulf shrimp, too.
Yeah.
Right out here.
Yes.
Local.
I tell you what, they scared me. I didn't eat them because they were so big. But everybody else in the community engulfed them.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Mike, that was a great event. We serviced hundreds of people in the community. It was nonstop. And I really want to applaud everybody you brung out, because when I tell you, it was never a dull moment for that hot fish and shrimp to come out. When the community, I guess they thought that it was not true, until they went Facebook Live and started showing the fish and the shrimp and the grease.
Right.
And then we got bombarded.
Yeah. And you know, as good as a lot of times when you go to something like that, I remember early in the planning, we talked about, well, you could buy fish. But I said, no way. I don't buy fish for my Customer Appreciation Day. And that was where me and you fished together.
Yes. Yes.
We finally got on a boat, and I know we've been trying to do it, and you've been on me hard, and I sold my boat a year ago.
Still mad.
But we'll get out there again. But that trip we went on, let's talk about that. What's your perspective on that trip, Tanya?
Well, I will tell you this. Thank you for that opportunity. I've been out on a boat probably like 10 feet or past my knees, but never have I been on a boat almost to Cuba.
No, it wasn't that far.
It was to Cuba. I don't care how you say it. The water went still. The music went out. The telephone went out. So I thought I was in Cuba.
And there was no land.
And there was no land. And the minute we docked, I was praying.
She was off the boat before I tied the boat to the dock. She was stepping off when I got there.
Because the only thing I remember is that hammerhead shark that I never seen in my life, visible. That big.
That was a beautiful sight, I can tell you that. It was.
No, you thought it was beautiful. I didn't think it was beautiful. I was scared, okay?
Hey,
but I never seen a shark that big in my life. First of all, I never seen a fish that big in my life. You gave us the opportunity. I brung a couple of colleagues. I brung some young adults. I had the opportunity to bring some officials. It was just, it was beautiful.
It was a beautiful day.
Beautiful day. My friends won't stop talking about it right now, and that's why I'm kind of a little irritated, because you sold the boat, and I keep asking about fishing, and I'm pretty thinking he really kind of being prejudiced right now. So, because he's going fishing still, and I haven't got there. Okay. But I tell you what, I never forget that experience a day in my life, and it was joyous, and I'm waiting to go back again. I did have a good time, and it was beautiful just to know my friends and colleagues the fish that we caught. And we caught some big fish, and you still told us to throw them back in the water.
Yeah,
And I didn't
boy,
understand
that was tough. She
That-
caught that 19-inch gag grouper, and I said, not big enough. She looked at it and said, it's big
I
enough
said,
for
yes,
me.
it is. It's big enough. It's a couple of sandwiches.
Yeah.
Not sandwiches.
Yeah, whose standards? She asked me. That's plenty big for my standards. It was a good time. We saw, we were on the way out, and it happens quite often. The hammerheads, the bull sharks, they like coming to the beaches. Of course, the news don't want to tell you that, but all those tarpon that come in, it's easy prey. It's a big 100 to 200-pound fish, 50-pound fish, whatever it is, and they're not that hard when they're in shallow water for a shark to get. Somebody catching one, it's not uncommon to revive it, let it go, and a shark come out of nowhere, 2 or 3 of them, 5 of them, and just destroy it. Well, this one was probably, she said it was halfway to Cuba. It was probably about maybe 15 miles offshore. And I saw a tarpon floating. And I thought, oh, wow, we'll drive over here and check the tarpon out. Probably a fisherman, maybe got a hook lodged or whatever and didn't revive it. Well, as I got closer to it, I could tell it had been kind of chewed on a little bit. So I slowed down. We got up there, and man, that thing was, it had to be 9, 10-foot big hammerhead.
It
Right
was
when they
big.
start getting thick, that's what I noticed about him. He was a heavy shark. He wasn't that little thin, skinny thing with a hammer on him. He had some width to him there. And he swam around the boat. He actually, I think he probably was a little threatened by the boat. He came at it twice and swam under it. The funny thing is, everybody on the boat was looking. Wow, look at that hammerhead. I look back, and Tanya's down in the safest place she could be. She's not going to fall out, and she doesn't need to see a shark. She's done
At
seen him.
all.
Isn't
I'm
that what
through.
you told me?
I was in the middle sitting on the beanbag.
That's right. And both of us that day went through the same experience with can't believing what people are doing. People ask me all the time, you ever go swimming when you're out there? No, don't want to. Seen too much in there to want to get in there with it. Now, I'm not saying I haven't jumped in and changed a prop. I'm not saying I hadn't jumped in and out real quick to get a bunch of slime off of me, but I'm not in there swimming around like they were that day.
No.
I'm in and out because I've seen them sharks that size underneath the boat, and you never knew it. And all of a sudden, you're reeling in a fish, and I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people, and that shark comes out of nowhere, 9 foot long, and grabs your grouper. You know, and it kind of spooks you. It's done it on some tuna with me, and I kind of feel like a karma thing. If you see all these animals around here, like alligators that I hunt, I'm not going swimming in a lake. I've killed too many alligators to go swimming in a lake. I'm sorry. I know what's here. I've had people tell me, oh, no, they trap our lake. There's no alligators in here. And I go, oh, yeah, you live in Florida in a body of water. If there's not one, there's one on its way there. I can tell you that because they're everywhere. Sharks are the same way. I swim in a pool with chlorine, and I ain't got to worry about no sharks and
At all.
alligators. Am I right?
At all.
Been
Well, my colleagues, they jumped in the water.
They sure did.
And had no problem with swimming. I couldn't believe it. So you know me, I'm going to pull out my camera because I'm going to live to tell the story. And they swam for about a good 10 minutes. And they asked me to jump in. No. I'm going to live to tell the story when we get back
That's right.
on the shore.
That's what she told them.
So I said, Mike, jump in the water. And he said the same story what he just got through saying. No. Karma.
Well, and that's smart, you know, on your part. You look at somebody who spends a lot of time on the water, and he really doesn't want to get in the water. Why do I? You know, it's like my buddy said, we were out there one time, probably about 100 miles, and there was a hurricane on the east coast of Florida, and I looked at Wind Finder and thought, we got a window. We can fish till 2. Well, we're 97 miles out at 1 o'clock, and I look around, and there's nothing but whitecaps. So I start putting on my foul weather gear. My buddy, Joe from Canada, him and his wife, love the show. They call it Mahoney Mondays. They listen to Tales of the Dark Side on Mondays together and up in Canada. and have a big kick out of it. But he told me, when I saw Mike put his foul weather jacket on, I put mine on. But he said, when I saw Mike tie that hood on his head, like he was going to battle, he said, I knew we had a good, hard ride coming in. And it can get, it can happen quick on you out there. We were fortunate that day. We had a beautiful day, no storms. We got in before the storms. And something I don't think you really knew about happened that day, and I'm going to tell you about it. And it had nothing to do with you or anything, but something that went on there at the dock. Do you remember when we pulled in, the fish cops were at the dock?
Yes, I remember that.
And they didn't say nothing to us, did they?
No, not at all.
But my buddy that came in behind us, I guess that's who they were waiting for. And we went ahead and y'all rolled out there. It wasn't a charter. I don't do charters. It was strictly for fun. We were catching fish for the cookout. And boy, he got cavity search and all kinds of stuff. They were really hard on him. I was kind of glad we got out of there. He called me before I got home.
Wow.
He was mad they didn't check him.
Wow.
Why wouldn't they check you, Mike? That's what he told me. Why would they come to me? I go, because I own the Marine Hardware store, maybe. You might think that's a reason. Just kidding. I mean, I'm not above that. I say that to my buddies just to mess with them. And it's really funny that I tell you, just tell them you know Mike Mahoney. Because usually that gets you in worse trouble, but it seemed like it helped you out there on Ballast Point Pier.
It helped me.
The Mahoney's got some history in South Tampa over there, from Port Tampa all the way around to Davis Island.
But that's all right. It helped me that day.
Well, good for you. I'm glad it did. Miss Tonya Lewis, I appreciate you coming out today and spending some time with us. Give your website out.
Well, my website is www.childrenwithavisioninc.com. Once again, www.childrenwithavisioninc.com. And on all social media outlets, it's just plain Children with a Vision. Whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything across the board is Children with a Vision.
That's great. And I can tell you people out there, if you're looking to help out in this area, Tonya Lewis is the one you need to get with. That's volunteer work, giving back to the community. It'll do your soul some good. Thank you, Tonya Lewis. I appreciate you coming out today.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
We'll see y'all next time.